Chapter 1 of History: The Rise of Nationalism in Europe. Firstly, we'll try to understand what is nationalism. So, nationalism is a feeling or emotion towards one nation, or we can say it is a belief system where a sense of common identity among the members of a nation developed through national flag, national symbol, national anthem. They play an important role in developing or strengthening the idea of nationalism. Before the mid 19th centuries, the countries of Europe were not in the form as we see them today. Different regions in Europe were ruled by various empires. These were monarchies which enjoyed absolute power over their subjects. The ensuring the social changes helped in developing the idea of nationalism in whole Europe. This process of developing a nation states began with the French Revolution in the year 1789. The trend was followed in other parts of Europe and led to establish the modern democratic system in most parts of the world at the beginning of 20th century. The first clear expression of nationalism was led by French Revolution. It brought changes in politics and bring out the Constitution of France. In year 1789, the power was transformed from the monarchy system to the body of the citizens in France. The French people now would shape the destiny of their own country. Before that, the France was ruled by the Bourbon family or the Louis XVI. Various steps were taken by revolutionaries to create a common sense of identity or the feeling of nationalism among people. Some of them is like first is the idea of fatherland or la patrie and le citoyen, the citizen, was created to emphasize a community which enjoyed equal rights under the constitution. Second is the royal flag was replaced with the new French flag, which is of tricolor blue, white, and red. The Estates General, a political body which was elected by the body of active citizens of France, now renamed as the National Assembly. In the name of the nation, new hymns were composed and oaths were taken. A centralized administrative system was created which formulated uniform laws for all the citizens. Even the internal custom duties were abolished. A uniform system of weights and measure was adopted. The regional dialects of France was discouraged and the French language was promoted as the common language of the nation. The revolutionaries also declared that it was the mission and the destiny of the French people to liberate the people of Europe from despotism. Despotism means the absolute rule of one person, a monarchy, and help other regions of Europe in becoming the nation states. With the ideas of French revolutionaries in different cities of Europe, people became motivated from this event in France. As a result, students or the educated middle class starting set up the Jacobin Club. The French army moved into Holland, Belgium, Switzerland, and the neighboring cities of France in the year 1970s. And the French army started carrying the idea of nationalism to the various land or the foreign lands. But there was a change of rule which established monarchy system back to the France. Napoleon destroyed democracy in France by reintroducing monarchy. But he made revolutionary changes in the field of administration. The idea was to make the system more rational and efficient. The Civil Code of 1804, and it is also known as Napoleonic Code. Through this, Napoleon Bonaparte has abolished all the privileges based on birth He also established equality before law and secured the right to the property. Even in those territories which came under his control, Napoleon began to introduce many reforms. He simplified the administrative divisions. He abolished the feudal system and peasants could be freed from the serfdom. Guild restrictions were removed in the towns. Transport and communication system were improved. Peasants, workers, businessmen, even every citizen in France, they enjoyed the new freedom which was given by Napoleon Bonaparte initially. But very soon, people could realize that the new administrative system was not going to brought them the political freedom. Why? Because Napoleon Bonaparte had increases the taxation, censorship, and he also did the forced recruitment in the French army. Thus, we can say that the initial enthusiasm of the people began to turn into hatedness. In the mid 18th century, there were no nation states as we see them today. Even the modern Germany, Italy, or Switzerland, they were divided into number of the kingdoms. Diverse people lived in various regions. Even the people didn't share a common collective identity. There were different ethnic groups who spoke different languages. The only binding factor among all the people was their alliance to the common emperor or the king. In the beginning, the European society was mainly divided into two groups, that is, aristocracy and peasants. Aristocracy was the dominant class on the continent. The members of this class were united by the common way of life. They owned majority of the land of the Europe. They spoke French language for the purpose of diplomacy. Even their families were often connected by the ties of marriage. And as we have discussed, aristocracy was in minority. They were having all the rights. On the other hand, the majority of the population of Europe was made up of peasantry. They were in the majority. They were the poor section of the society, and even they used to work in the fields of aristocracy, and they were not having any right. In 18th century, the industrial production and trade grew, which leads to the industrialization. This led to growth of the towns where new commercial class emerged. The existence of this new class was based on the production for the market. New social groups came into existence, a working class population or a middle class population. They were composed of industrialists, businessmen, professionals like doctors, lawyers, and so on. They made a new group of social society. It was this class which shaped the ideas of national unity and the right for the individual in the whole Europe. The ideology of liberalism started developing in the early 19th century. For the new middle class, freedom for the individual or the equality of all before the law were the basis of idea of liberalism. The idea of liberalism emphasizes the concept of government by consent. Liberalism means an end of autocracy and the clerical privileges. It meant the need of the constitution and a representative government. As we had learnt in the French Revolution, during the early period of revolution, only the property owning men or the men who were having the property had right to vote. So the struggle for voting rights for the women and the non-propertied men continued through the 19th and the early 20th century. The emerging middle class, they not only having the ideology of political liberalism, but they also favor the economic liberalization. Let us take an example of German speaking region in the first half of 19th century. There were 39 states in this region. which were further divided into various sub-regions. And all these regions were having their own currency and own unit of measurement. A merchant traveled from Habsburg to Nuremberg, and he had to pass through 11 custom barriers and to pay a custom duties of about 5% at each barrier. This custom duty had to be paid according to the weight and measure. And wide difference in unit of weight and measure created further confusion. So the conditions were not at all for the businessman friendly, and it also created obstacles to the economic activities. So the new commercial class was demanding a unified economic territory so that there could be no obstacle during the movement of good and people. So for this, in the year 1834, Zollverein or the Custom Union were formed, and it was firstly initiated by Prussia. Later on, the German states also joined. The tariff barriers were abolished, and the number of the currencies were reduced from 30 currencies to only 2 currencies. Development of railway network further enhances the mobility of the goods and the people. This created some sort of economic nationalism which helped in strengthening the national sentiments which were growing at that time. As we have learned in the French Revolution chapter also, the Napoleon Bonaparte was defeated in the Battle of Waterloo in the year 1815 by the combined power of Britain, Russia and Prussia and also Austria. After the defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte, the European government wanted to follow the conservatism. They believed in the preserving the monarchy, the church and social hierarchies. But most of them also wanted to retain the modernization which Napoleon carried out in the sphere of administration. The conservatives believed that the modernization would strengthen traditional institutions. It was believed that a modern army and the efficient bureaucracy and the abolition of the feudal system and serfdom could strengthen the monarchies of the Europe. As we have learned in the French Revolution chapter also, the Napoleon Bonaparte was defeated in the Battle of Waterloo in the year 1815 by the combined power of Britain, Russia and Prussia and also Austria. After the defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte, the European government wanted to follow the conservatism. They believed in the preserving the monarchy, the church and social hierarchies. But most of them also wanted to retain the modernization which Napoleon carried out in the sphere of administration. The conservatives believed that the modernization would strengthen traditional institutions. It was believed that a modern army and the efficient bureaucracy and the abolition of the feudal system and serfdom could strengthen the monarchies of the Europe. Now we will learn about the Treaty of Vienna. After the defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte, the winning power, Britain, Russia, Prussia, and Austria, they meet at Vienna in the year 1815 to draw up a settlement of Europe. And this meeting was hosted by Austrian Chancellor Duke Metternich. And with this, we can say a few changes was brought in the Europe. The first is the Bourbon dynasty, which had been deposed during the French Revolution, was restored to the power. Second is a series of states was set up on the boundaries of France to prevent French expansion in the future, as Napoleon Bonaparte was conquering the neighboring countries of France, and these countries or the region they want to limit the expansion, and that is why they have set up the various boundaries around the France so that it will stop the expansion. The next is German Federation of 39 states, which had been set up by Napoleon Bonaparte, was left untouched. So there was no change in the German Federation of 39 states. And in the east, Russia was given a part of Poland. So the conservative regimes which were set up in the year 1815 were autocratic. They were intolerant of the criticisms. Most of them imposed censorship laws to control the content in newspaper, books, plays, or songs.
Now, our next topic is the revolutionaries. After the event of 1815, many liberals or the nationalists went underground for the fear of suppression or under stress. So, one of the revolutionaries is Giuseppe Mazzini. He was an Italian revolutionary. He was born in the year 1807 and he has formed the two underground societies. First is the Young Italy in Marseilles, and the second is Young Europe in Bonn. Mazzini believed that God had intended nations to be natural units of mankind, and God has chosen him to unify the Italy. And not only this, many revolutionaries following the steps or footsteps of Mazzini. Many secret societies were set up in Germany, France, Switzerland, and Poland, and conservatives were feared of Mazzini. On one side, conservatives want to establish monarchy in whole Europe, and on the other hand, liberals and the nationalists they continue to spread the idea of revolution. So the first event took place in France in July 1830. The Bourbon kings or the Bourbon family were overthrown by the liberal revolutionaries. A constitutional monarchy was installed with Louis Philippe at its head. The July Revolution sparked an uprising in Brussels, which resulted in Belgium breaking away from the United Kingdom's rule. Next topic is the Greek War of Independence. So the struggle for independence among the Greeks began in the year 1821. They not only got support from the Greeks, but they also got support from many West European who sympathizes with the ancient Greek culture. Poets and the artists they mobilized among the public opinion to support the struggle against the Muslim Empire. And at that time, Greece had been a part of the Ottoman Empire. Finally, under the Treaty of Constantinople of 1832, with this we can say the Greece was recognized as an independent nation. The ideology of Romanticism was developing in all over the Europe. Romanticism was a cultural movement which sought to develop a particular form of nationalist sentiment through languages, arts, poems, story, and through culture also. So, in this particular topic, we are going to discuss the two case studies. First is of Germany. The John Friedrich Herder, a German philosopher, claimed that the true German culture could be discovered among the common people. These romantic used folk songs, folk poetry, and folk dance to popularize the true spirit of the nation. Next example is of a language. Language also played an important role in developing the nationalist sentiments. In this, we are going to discuss an example of Poland. Korensky, who was a Polish citizen, he celebrated the national struggle through his operas and music in Poland. After the Russian occupation, the Polish language was forced out of the schools and the Russian language were imposed everywhere. An armed rebellion took place against the Russian rule in 1831, but this was ultimately crushed. But after this, many members of the clergy in the Poland began to use language as a weapon of the national resistance. In all church gathering and in all religious instructions, Polish language was used. The Russian authorities put a large number of priests in jail and sent them to Siberia as a punishment for their suppression, or we can say their revolt against the Russian army. The use of Polish became a symbol of the struggle against the Russian Empire. 1830s were the years of great economic hardship in Europe. There was a huge growth in the population in the first half of the 19th century. A year of bad harvest coupled with price rise in food led to the problems in towns and countries like unemployment. And the year 1848 was one such bad year. Because of the shortage of food, the high level of unemployment generated. The people of Paris came out on the road. They protest against the king of the France, that is Louis Philippe, and the protest was at a very large scale. And because of that, Louis Philippe he got afraid and had to flee. So now the National Assembly proclaimed a republic. It granted suffrage to all the adult males, only the males who were above the age of 21 years. It guaranteed the right to work. National workshops were set up to provide employment. Not only this, the liberals also started revolting. When the revolts of the poor took place in the year 1848, another revolution was led by the educated middle class. They demanded the creation of the nation state on the parliamentary principles. They wanted a constitution and the freedom of press and the freedom of association. One such revolution of liberal has been seen in the Frankfurt Parliament. In the German region, the liberals they get together and they came in the city of Frankfurt and decided to vote for all German National Assembly as it was seen in France also. On 18th May 1848, total 831 elected representatives took out a procession to take part in the Frankfurt Parliament, which was held in the Church of St. Paul. They drafted a constitution for the German nation, and this German nation was to be headed by the monarchy subject to the parliament. And at that time, Frederick William IV was the king of Prussia. When these elected representatives they came to him, he rejected the offer and joined other monarchs to oppose the elected assembly. So with this we can say the liberal movement was suppressed by the conservative forces, uh, but in the year after 1848, the monarch began to realize that granting concession to the liberal nationalist revolutionaries was the only way to end the cycle of revolution. So, they began to introduce changes which had already taken place in some parts of Europe after this. With the passage of time, conservatives also understand the importance of nationalism. So they also helped to develop the nationalist sentiments in all over the Europe. And Prussia took on the leadership of the movement for the national unification. So in the Prussian revolution or a Prussian journey, we can say Otto von Bismarck was an important figure. Otto von Bismarck was the chief minister of Prussia, and he took the help of the Persian army, and uh, three were three wars were fought over the 7 years with Austria, Denmark, and France. The war ended in Prussian victory and completed the process of unification. The Prussian King William I was proclaimed the German Emperor in the ceremony held at Versailles in the year 1871. The new state placed a strong emphasis on modernizing the currency, banking, legal, and the judicial system in Germany. Prussian measures and practice often became a model for the rest of the Germany. Now we will learn about the unification of Italy. Italy also had a long history of political fragmentation. There were many dynasties and multinational Habsburg Empire in Italy. During the mid 19th century, Italy was divided into seven states. Sardinia Piedmont was one of the states and it was ruled by the Italian princely house. Similarly, in the southern region, the dominance was of the Bourbon King of Spain.
and the Italian language had yet to acquire a common form and it still had many regional and the local variation. And for the unification of Italy, Sajania Piedmont king, that is Victor Emmanuel II, has taken the initiative to unify the Italy. Victor Emmanuel II has taken the help of Chief Minister Cavour to unify the Italy. Right. So he led the movement to unify the regions of Italy. He was neither a revolutionary or nor a democrat. He was like many other wealthy and the educated members of Italy. And he succeeded in defeating the Austrian forces in the year 1859. And later on in the year 1860, the Cavour and the local revolutionaries they succeeded and they marched into the South Italy and the kingdom of Tucilis, and they succeed in winning the support of the local peasants. And with this, Victor Emmanuel II was proclaimed the King of United Italy in the year 1861. Now we will understand the case of Britain. The formation of nation state in Britain didn't happen because of any revolution. It was a strange case. Before the 18th century, there was no British nation. The British was divided into different ethnic groups: English, Wales, Scot, and Irish. Each ethnic group had its own cultural and political tradition. But the English nation grew in wealth, was important, and powerful. Thus, they were able to extend its influence on the other nations of the islands. And with the Act of Union 1707 between the England and Scotland resulted into the formation of United Kingdom of Great Britain. In this union, England was the dominant partner and thus the British Parliament was dominated by its English members. And slowly and gradually, the English culture was forced on the other British nation, and the older nation survived only as the subordinate partners in this union. Not only the revolutions, even the allegories also helps to establish the feeling of nationalism in all Europe. Artists used female figures to personify a nation. During the French Revolution, artists used the female allegory to portray the idea of liberty, justice, and republic. In France, it was Marianne. Her characteristics were drawn from liberty and republic, the red cap and the tricolor. Her statues were erected in the public squares. Her image were marked on the coins and stamps to persuade the people to identify with it the nationalism feeling. Similarly, Germania became the allegory of German nation. Germania wear a crown of oak leaves and the German oak stands for heroism. The last topic of this chapter is nationalism and imperialism. So by the last quarter of 19th century, the nationalism could not retain its idealistic sentiments. The major European powers manipulated the ideology of nationalism and limited its scent. It has been seen in the conflict of Balkan. Balkan was a region of geographical and ethnic variation, which was comprising of Romania, Bulgaria, Albania, Greece, and so on. And the inhabitants of this region were broadly known as Slavs. The large part of Balkan was under the control of Ottoman Empire, and through the 19th century, the Ottoman Empire tried to strengthen itself through the modernization and internal reforms. But in the process, the Balkan also became the scene of big power rivalry. During this period, there was intense rivalry among the European powers over trade and colonies. Not only this, it also includes the naval and the military rights. Each power, like Russia, Germany, England, Austro Hungary, was countering the hold of other powers over the Balkan region and extended its control over the area. And this led to the series of wars in the region and finally resulted into the First World War. With the passage of time, many countries in the world which had been colonized by the European power in the 19th century began to oppose the imperial domination. And with that, the idea of the nation states thus became a universal phenomenon.